Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of Pro Wrestling Talk. Alongside my co hosts, Miss Witchy Perfect over here. My two guests are down here. They're Dee and Greg. So, welcome. Thank you both for coming on tonight and reviewing WrestleMania and talking about all the other crap that went on in wrestling this week. So, thank
Let's
you
get
both.
into it.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Let's
Yeah.
get into it.
All right, so I'm gonna start with WrestleMania Night One. We're gonna go down the card real quick. I'm not gonna spend too much time on Night One because Night One sucked.
Yeah.
But in the first match, we had Rhea Ripley defending the women's world title against Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley went over; she pinned Lynch as she should have. It was a fine opener. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because it was okay. Becky is not really a good wrestler. She's more of a personality, I think. So
It was a showcase for Rhea Ripley.
yeah, that's what it was, and that's
Got
exactly what it
a
needed to
live
be.
entrance and everything. That was her big moment. Get
Oh, yeah.
Y'all need real fans, not casuals. I don't know what you're talking about, Tony, but thank you for joining us anyways.
I think he means AEW.
That's AEW fans. I mean, I wouldn't mind having an AEW fan on to debate, but so far no takers.
I mean,
So
I am an AEW fan. I'm just a very realistic AEW fan. You know what I mean? But yeah, it would be
y'all
fun
didn't
to
even know who Julia was. I know who Julia was.
Yeah, we know
What are you
Julia.
talking
She's
about?
over in WWE. She got a debut on
Yeah,
Stand and Deliver. She's probably the
yeah.
best pro over there
I,
in Stardom.
I never seen her wrestle, but I know who she is.
Mm.
So what do you guys think of the Becky Lynch match? Did you like it?
Jim Cornette said it was okay. He
It
really
was good
liked
for what it
Rhea
was.
Ripley, in
Like I said,
this.
it
Yeah, it was fine.
put Rhea Ripley over against the top star.
Yeah, they ain't had no
Yeah.
issues whatsoever.
No,
Yeah.
they're not gonna.
Not
She's not
bad.
gonna drop those belts.
None.
All right,
I don't
so
know.
that
It's
was
not her
Rhea
time. It's
Ripley.
not her time to drop the belt yet.
Not even close.
Yeah.
all right. In the second match, it was the six pack challenge, ladder match, tag team title
Yeah.
match,
Predictable. I
and
think we all called this one on
yeah,
our
I mean they split the
show.
tag team titles. It was obvious when they first showed the tag team titles, they were both separate
Yeah.
on separate hooks. I'm like, they're gonna split the tag team titles. I
Oh,
mean, they just
jeez.
gave it away there,
I
and
wish they would just combine them and just have one set of tag team belts to float around both shows. I don't think they have
yeah.
enough tag teams to support two different
Yeah, I'm
divisions.
surprised they. I knew they would go in that direction, but I'm surprised that they did because they don't
Hopefully
have
they,
enough tag teams.
hopefully they unite them eventually.
Eh. And it was Judgment Day and Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, New Day, Awesome Truth, DIY, blah blah blah. So who won the SmackDown one? I forget.
Austin Theory and Grayson Waller.
Yeah,
Austin. Yep.
Waller. They
Yeah,
won pretty early. Which was
Oh.
like, oh wow. And then the Raw ones were won by Awesome Truth. The match itself was just a spot fest, and I
yeah.
counted at least 3 or 4 times where tag teams could have grabbed the tag team
Oh,
title.
I tweet.
Instead, they jumped off the ladder like
It was
idiots.
so
Way
stupid.
outside.
It was like they're prioritizing going through
Spots.
tables and ladders.
Stupid
Yeah.
spots.
Like
They were
setting up
there.
the ladders and getting the
I think-
belts. It was silly.
I think it was DIY and New Catch Republic and New
like
Day.
they weren't even
They were all
trying to
there.
win.
They
They
were
weren't
right
trying
there
to win
instead.
at all.
Yeah. Instead, they all like jumped off the fucking ladder, went
They're
to a
just doing
table.
spots,
Yeah, for no reason.
which I mean
And
looked
the-
painful. So I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
it looked. It was like, oh wow, that's a good
some of them
spot.
looked really
but
painful. So I mean, I guess
Well, and I
But I
hated
really-
that in the Attitude Era. They would do that all the time.
yeah,
With those tag teams, the Hardy Boys,
yeah, that stuff
Dudley
was hot
Boys.
shotted 20 years ago. Now it
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Now it's just
Might as well just give them a suplex. They're both gonna kick.
Yeah,
out.
when I was watching, right, and when I was watching it, it's
what's
like,
that?
I mean, I enjoyed it, for what it was.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. It was just
uh,
it's stupid.
Everybody got their
guys do
drinks.
shit that might hurt them.
Oh yeah, I got mine down here. I just haven't touched it yet. All right, so that's that.
Gotta hydrate.
I don't know where Tony Banana's coming from. But we didn't know who Julia was, but okay, I'm not gonna keep arguing with you.
I'm glad
The
he's
next
here,
match.
right?
Who?
I mean, like
Yeah.
Julia Hart.
No, it's
Julia,
No,
Girl from
okay.
Stardom.
Japanese wrestler. She just came
Oh.
over and signed with WWE. All
Okay.
right, and the next match was Rey Mysterio and I'm about to say Andrade versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. It was what it was. It was fine, but I joked around the internet that Rey Mysterio's never going to put over his son because he beat him twice at WrestleMania.
I know, right?
Okay, dokie.
Dom's one of those heels that his win-loss record's not going to matter. He's always going to be able to get heat.
No, yeah, I agree, but I'm
And
just
I mean, it's
saying.
just a moment for them to show off. Like, all right, here's another one of your guys. Here's another
Yeah, I
AEW
agree,
guy
but
on WrestleMania.
we
But I
all
mean,
at least
Dominic is very hated. Why would you not get him over?
I know I thought his dad would put him over this time around, but he didn't. Ray, he actually pinned who did he pin? I know he
Escobar?
got the pin. I think. Yeah, I think it was Escobar. At least he didn't beat his son again. But
I mean, the only thing I could think that Dominic didn't get like the W because maybe they were setting up for Damien, not to take the spotlight away from him.
that was night 2 though, so I don't think that would have
I
affected
mean,
that.
Yeah.
So I think Ray just doesn't want to put over his son. He's like his ego is getting in the way.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not yet.
Next year.
Second generation there, Ray. You got to step out sometime.
Yeah, he said he would retire by the time he's 50,
I
but
think that's why, because he knows once he does that, he's
Mass
probably
versus hair.
retired. He's probably not
Interesting.
ready to retire yet.
yeah,
An interesting concept. Mass versus hair.
That's what I thought they were going to do.
yeah, that's a good one. That's an interesting concept. I would
That's what I
probably
thought. I thought they were going to do that, but I
he
didn't
could
want
retire
to
next year at
back
WrestleMania and put over his son there, but it seems like I would have put him over this year. I mean, I don't know. I mean, 1-1 and then have the third match at next year's WrestleMania or something, but nope, I guess not. All right, well, we'll get past that. The fourth match was probably the worst match on the card, night 1. Jey Uso versus Jimmy. I don't
Yeah,
want to.
Those super kicks, I'm
I knew I
telling
wasn't
you.
going to like this just based off
No.
the
Those
tag
super
match they
kicks
had
were
last year.
half-assed, and they looked
were
like they
awful.
were, it looked like it was all choreographed.
Yeah,
I
Any
mean,
of them.
let's just face it. I mean, yes, wrestling is kind of like a dance, but I mean,
Yeah.
boys, make it look real at least.
Or just
There's
stop doing
nothing
the
like
same
that.
dance move over and over again.
Yeah,
Try
Yeah.
I
it.
mean that super kick was half-assed.
Go away
it
and
looked
learn a
stupid.
new hold. As
Exactly.
Jim Ross
Exactly,
just
Greg.
said
it was just a
We're on the
super
same
kick.
wavelength.
It was a super kick exhibition, and
But
it was
everybody
awful.
knew. I mean, like nobody was surprised. That's all they do.
Yeah.
They're tag team wrestlers. They're not singles
Yeah.
wrestlers. They get exposed, especially Jimmy. Jimmy gets exposed when he
Yeah,
wrestles
Jimmy.
singles matches.
But that was the
And
thing back in our era, guys, is that, I mean, even if they were tag team, like, for example, I'm going to say this, Bret Hart. I mean, Bret knew how to wrestle with Jim. Jim knew how to wrestle with Bret, Jim Neihart.
yeah.
But they both were really great at singles matches. So if you can't be like that, sorry, boys, you can't. That's the
No,
line.
they shouldn't be
okay?
Neither of them should be wrestling singles matches.
Stop
But
lowering the
Jey
bar.
Uso's so over. But nobody likes Jey Uso's matches. You know what I mean? Have you ever
Yeah.
listened to people? They like
He's over.
he's got a lot of he's over as hell. He's got
Everybody does this
that.
with him. He's
But
over.
it's just
But
like that's all that's over about him. Like nobody enjoys a Jey Uso singles match.
Jey
They're a tag team.
Uso main event Jey Uso. I know they gave him that nickname, main event.
I mean, they're trying to push him as a single.
They're trying.
They wanted,
The
if they
thing
want
with
to
Brett
push him.
started as a single, and then they made him a tag team. So Jay and Jimmy were always a tag team. So
In
they
Stampede,
never had.
yes.
They never had. Yeah, exactly. In Stampede, they never had that singles experience on their own for a long period of time. So I don't think they should ever be.
I mean,
not
I
a tag
agree.
team.
If Jey Uso wants to be a top guy, he needs to fix that super kick because
that wasn't Owen versus Brett.
No,
as much
that
as
was
they
awful.
tried to make it Owen versus Brett. That was
and
not
they did some
it.
crazy shit, but it looked good because they were both second generation. And isn't Jey Uso and Jimmy, aren't they both second generation?
Yeah, they were Kishi's son.
They're
Oh, come on.
Yeah, they're one of
and
the
I think
Samoans kids.
and then there's Solo's big brothers too.
Yeah, he's one of
they're
brothers
Solo
too.
big brothers. We'll get to Solo on SmackDown, but that was interesting what he did there. But yeah, that was an awful match. I mean, that was just a super kick exhibition and a splash
and they
finish.
were half-assed and they looked fake.
At least the right guy won. Jey Uso won.
Yeah,
but that was awful. Yeah. So the next match was the 6-woman tag. I always say man, but it's woman. Jade Cargill, Bianca, and Naomi versus Damage Control. Which, of course, it was a show off Jade Cargill, and she did her job, and they won.
Yeah, I don't have any.
She's got 3 moves.
3 moves. That's right.
If she does them well, she can be a star. Look at Goldberg; he had 3 or 4 moves.
Yeah, but it took him time. He really sucked in the beginning, and he was hurting guys.
Yeah,
I would hate to see her hurt a bunch of ladies because she doesn't know what she's doing and she got 3 moves.
She should be able to do more. She's been hidden away.
She's been
in the performance.
She's been at the
center
PC for a
now.
while, so she should be able to do more than 3.
be able to do more. So
I think what they're doing is they're slowly exposing her, and
yeah,
eventually she'll start doing
they
more
don't want to
moves
show
once.
any weakness at all.
Yeah, not right now,
Don't
and it
want
makes
to show
sense.
any weakness at all.
Mm, you should
But they're being a
she
little
should
too
be.
careful. I think. I think they're being a
It
little too
could be. Yeah, I
careful.
could. If
Yeah.
Because
she's
she used to
ready to.
wrestle 10-minute matches in AEW, like on pay-per-views and stuff, and
Yeah, yeah,
she
she did,
can
but
do it. If she has the right dance partner.
yeah. All right. So that match is that match, whatever. And the next match, Gunther defending the Intercontinental title against
This
Sami
pissed me
Zayn.
off.
This was a good match. I mean, over the match itself. Not talking about the finish. The match
Yeah,
itself was good,
yeah, the match was
but
good.
the finish was. It was like it
Yeah,
was a
I was
total
waiting for you to
letdown.
say that, Angel.
I don't know why you beat Gunther.
Yeah, they beat him, and I'm
There are
like,
there's many different ways they could have got the belt off him.
Right. Well,
to-
and they were saying on the internet that they're going to elevate him, and I said, well, you
Yeah,
guys realize they're
yeah.
also elevating Sami Zayn too,
Yeah.
right?
and he's
'Cause
already
once-
had multiple moments.
For the exceptions of Rick Rude and Kurt Hennig, usually the IC belt means you get lifted up to the heavyweight belt. But now they got two of them, which I'm
Yeah.
confused on what the fuck that's all about. But anyway,
Well,
back in our
one-
day, it was the IC belt elevates you to the heavyweight belt.
Usually, not always the
Usually.
case, but usually.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know why they beat Gunther. Like he was undefeated. Like I don't know why. That's like such a big.
And he
draw
looked
for
better.
wrestling
He was like the
to have
ultimate
to be
heel thing.
undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good match. So Sammy sold his ass off, and go make Gunther like $1 million, and then all of a sudden he hits the top rope brainbuster, which looked brutal. At least
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm like, what was that botched?
I saw it from a
Wow.
different angle, and it looked a lot safer than it did from the angle they showed
Okay,
us.
well, if that's how it's supposed to look,
he
good,
did it
but it
right.
looked like he botched it.
No, they did it right.
He did it right.
Okay.
And Sammy,
Will Ospreay and Takeshita did it very wrong.
Sammy only busted out during big matches now. He doesn't do it every week, which is good because you don't want to bury
I don't
that.
think I've ever seen Sammy do that, but I haven't followed his career.
He did it in Ring of Honor when he was El
yeah,
Generico.
that's what I read. But I had never
Yes,
seen him do that.
yeah, Sammy was a wild boy back when he was an
Yeah,
Edico or whatever he came.
El Generico.
The
Yeah,
mask.
he was
Wild.
he was in a white mask and mute. He
Right.
wouldn't talk
And
at all.
mute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, and as you said, Angel, you kind of knew what the
Yeah.
stuff was going to hit the fan when you saw the wife and the child in the back.
I'm like,
So,
oh shit.
I mean, they're
And
not
Kevin
going
Owens
to.
and the
Yeah, Kevin
there's-
Owens
gorilla.
humped him up, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and
I
was
mean,
like,
they're not going to do it twice in front of his wife
They're
and have
telling
him lose
Rocky
twice.
3. They're literally telling Rocky 3.
Yeah, that story.
With Chad Gable
And
being
it's the
Apollo
same
Creed.
shot, yes.
Yeah,
And now
they're
they're
ripping
literally
off
doing
the
rematch.
Rocky
You know,
3 thing.
that was what Rocky was promised. Or Rocky promised Apollo Creed a title
Yeah.
shot or our fight if he trained him. That's exactly
And
what he's doing right
it's
now.
happening next week on Raw. Sami Zayn and
I
Gable
think
for the
Gable
Intercontinental.
wins.
He needs that IC belt, Gable, especially if you want to elevate him.
But
to
then
the
it
main
makes
event.
me even more mad that they beat Gunther.
Why would
like, why the fuck did you do that?
If
Well,
Sami
and-
Zayn is
That
just
made
there
me
to
so
transition
mad.
the belt to Gable, why not
That
just
made
have
me
Gable in the
so
match?
mad.
Well, and they
Yeah, that
and
was
like I
weak,
said, they
man.
said that they're
Don't-
they're just elevating Gunther. Well, okay, but
After losing, like that's what happens in real
they're
life.
gonna put him in the heavyweight belt after
Yeah, he just lost his
is
title.
Gunther
Yeah, I
SmackDown
agree with
or Raw?
Tony. Raw right now.
He's Raw. Okay, so I mean, he
Yeah,
could go
I agree.
after
I agree with.
Damien.
I agree
Damian
with Tony
Priest,
too.
Yeah,
maybe?
Sammy was already over.
Damian Priest is the world champion, and
Yeah.
Jey Uso #1 contender, by the way, for that world title.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll
see,
get to
that
that.
doesn't make any sense. Okay, so now you have Gunther lose, but you're not going to elevate him? No, you have to elevate him now.
I think
But,
they're waiting for
yeah.
the draft to tell any real long-term stories.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the other thing. The draft, and people are probably going to move. People who
Yeah,
are on Raw are probably going to
everybody's
go to
moving
SmackDown,
around.
and people
Yeah.
on SmackDown are probably going to go to Raw. So
Yeah,
Unless there was
They
a
did that
feud
shit
already
and,
bleeding
you
into
know.
this, they're not going to start any long-term stories until the draft. So
I wouldn't be surprised
Jey
if
Uso's obviously going to lose. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
he's there to
Yeah,
get beat
no.
by Damian Priest.
yeah.
he doesn't
And-
deserve that elevation yet.
Yeah,
I can't believe he's the #1 contender.
It was more so due to the storytelling between McIntyre
Punk
and
and
Punk.
McIntyre and Punk. Yeah,
that
so we'll get
less
to
than
that.
We're
but-
elevating Jay. Jay was just
Yeah.
the lucky guy in that.
Well,
scenario.
and I have some things to say about Raw because something, or was it SmackDown? Somebody came out in SmackDown and is trying to be leader. So when we get to SmackDown, I want to talk
Solo.
about that.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
get to that. Solo's trying to take over the bloodline, but all
yeah,
right,
it's like
and
a
the
mafia split. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah,
mafia powers
they
going
they
Oh
at
they
it.
yeah.
exactly how
they
I would put it.
I
they
think we're
literally
gonna get more
doing
family members into
yeah.
this.
Hmm.
They're doing the NWO Black and White versus the NWO Wolfpack.
Red and
That's
black,
what
yeah,
Right.
that's what they're doing.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
mean, there's going to be a bloodline civil war, like
yeah,
throughout the year.
and I'm
yeah.
here
But we
for
get
that.
yeah, we'll get to the main event, which was the tag match: Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Of course, The Rock, dominated the match and he beat Cody Rhodes. So
This
that's
went on
was
for
it.
so long.
It did,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my only gripe, okay, it's just a gripe. I'm sorry. I know
Okay.
it was
I enjoyed
awesome.
it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the match, but it was
I
long.
enjoyed it
Yeah,
too. It's
I
just my
enjoyed it.
only gripe was that guys, come on. The Attitude Era was 20 years ago, 30, almost 30 years ago.
Almost 30. Yeah.
Going through announce tables, going through the barricades. I
Oh
mean,
my
come on,
god, the
guys.
announce table spot was so overdone
We
on
are
Yeah,
WrestleMania.
so
There
Oh
and
was
this
over
yeah.
the
night
every
announce table.
match
It's
they were
always the
throwing the
Spanish announce
promoters'
table,
rings
Right.
off
and it's
the
like,
nets.
okay,
it's
it was
a
overdone.
it's a rib at this point. It's always Spanish
Yeah,
announce table they
that
Right.
was
play with.
Right. Right.
Bring
ridiculous.
put to
How
the
many
table.
times they did the announce table spot, and now they have two of them. They got the Spanish announce booth, so they got two announce
Yeah,
tables
they
for the
got
match
It
two.
now.
was always,
So
but in the 90s, it was always the Spanish announce
yeah,
table.
that was the rib. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
Yeah,
always
that was a big
their
rib.
table.
That it was always the
The
Spanish
Spanish
announce
announce
table.
table.
We need real glass. I mean, yeah,
No, that
AW
would
would
just be
agree with you.
stupid.
AW would agree with you though. It was
Yeah,
a good match.
it was a great
Rocky
match. I just that was my little gripe.
Rocky, of course, Rocky dominated the match, and the finish was kind of weird because Roman had him beat with the spear, and The Rock did this, and Roman looked like a kind of a chump when he tagged in Rock, and he did his rock bottom people's elbow and just pinned Cody, no
Well,
problem.
they stopped didn't someone stop the people's elbow?
The first
I
time,
think
yeah,
did
Cody
Cody.
stopped it,
Yeah.
and then Cody got booed a little bit because they want to see the people's
And I'm
elbow.
like,
yeah,
guys, you do know that the rock bot or the people's elbow was just for something. It was a rib for the
It was a
Undertaker.
rib on the Undertaker. You're trying to
it
make
Yeah,
got
it
him
was a
laugh.
so
Yeah,
rib.
over though. I remember
Yeah.
It,
how
it did get
ridiculous it
so
was
over,
that
yes.
got over.
When the Rock was a pure baby face, yes. But
Every
now
yeah,
you never can tell. Sometimes it gets cheered, sometimes it gets booed. But what really got me was if you count, you're fired. I was thinking, screw you, I'm gonna count. Fire me, I don't care.
yeah.
And they almost had me by this much when the Roman did the spear and hit the Rock, and I'm
Right.
like, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
they were
Yeah,
teasing
that
something there.
right,
It didn't
I
jumped out
think
of
happen
it's
my
though.
gonna be
seat when I
Rock
saw
versus
that.
Roman.
That
Rock
was
versus
crazy.
Roman, yeah.
I was
uh-huh.
like, here we go.
Yeah, and they're gonna do that bloodline civil war. I mean, Solo's
Yeah.
already trying to take over the bloodline, and Roman's gone, and he's intimidating Paul Heyman into accepting him as new tribal chief. So
Yeah, is it gonna be the tribal chief or the final boss? I mean, that's good storytelling there.
Yeah, it
No
is.
doubt
yeah,
about that. I
When you
just didn't
can't
like the
guess the
barricade and the
ending,
rock
it's
bottom through the
automatically
announce
intriguing.
table. Those were
Like,
my only gripes.
And then I
Otherwise,
was
it was good.
and I was watching so I got to watch the Roman documentary that Paul Heyman produced.
yeah. I watched
Yeah.
that
So
too.
yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So my understanding, so Jay was the first one from all of them to be the wrestler.
Hmm.
yeah.
yeah, I think
Oh,
He
Roman was
got in the
still
and
business.
trying to be a football player.
Yeah,
right, okay,
the Usos got in the business first, and
right,
then later it was Roman after a couple of years because
Very
when he
similar
had
to
his
The Rock.
cancer, yeah, when he's diagnosed with his cancer, his football career is pretty much over.
mm.
Roman
They
Reigns
really
has cancer. Had
yeah,
cancer.
leukemia. No, he still had
yeah.
leukemia.
I
Yeah,
Still
mean,
he's
it's
still.
still in
medication
his
for it.
body. Yeah,
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah, I know,
He's
right?
Oh, I didn't
working all
know
these
that.
years with leukemia. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh my
yeah,
It's pretty
gosh.
wild when you look at the guy and he doesn't look like
yeah.
someone who's
yeah.
got cancer.
No,
Right.
No, no.
Not at all.
you.
I mean, he's
Well,
built. There's no doubt about that. That
hmm
he's definitely built like a wrestler. But I mean, enough with the title.
well, he did drop it. We'll get
He's
to night
not.
two, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's not Hogan. Okay, nobody's Hogan other than Hogan. I mean, let's just put it in perspective. I mean, I didn't like Hogan, but you got to admit it was Hogan, right?
Yeah,
he
he
did
was
the
the
brother,
one that
brother,
took the
brother.
business
He
to the next
was
level.
He
Right.
did the brother. He was charismatic as all hell. He had the 8 to
It
12 minute match. He would
yeah.
pose, do this, and then he would walk
Yeah.
away. You know,
And
people
it,
And
it
loved
he
it.
could still sell pay per views.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
it
mean? Even though
reminded
that
it
you knew you
reminds
were
me
going to
of
get
the
a good
whole,
wrestling
Lex
match.
Express.
Yeah,
The Lex Luger tried to be
but
Hogan
Luger
2.0.
Luger wasn't anywhere near charismatic as Hogan was, so he couldn't pull it
True.
off.
No, Luger was
True.
At
admirable
all.
heel.
Oh.
You know, he was
And
Yeah.
I'd like to think, but I mean, no offense to Roman Reigns, did he even show up half the time? I mean, I know a champion that he would defend the. I think Jim and
He,
Brian were talking about this, that he only defended the title 30 times out of like, 30,
I think
365
I don't really
days.
mind that.
he
He's the
Really?
world
defended it.
champ.
I mean,
He should.
because
He
I think
defended it.
if you don't need to have him on TV every week, don't. You know,
He
make
defended
his.
it 60, 70 times in 3.5 years. So
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
I like the way. I mean, I don't.
I don't mind
I'm
that
sorry.
either.
I'm
But
used to,
He could
I
have
mean,
been
because
there a
even
little
Hogan
more,
was on like, certain times.
but I didn't mind Roman not being there
I
every
don't.
week because it made it more special when he was
Yeah,
there,
when he
and it
showed
got
up, it was
ratings.
yeah.
special.
I
But
guess how can we
WWE
like you
has
if you
enough
won't go
guys; they
yeah,
away?
don't have
Yeah.
to,
yeah.
you know,
Now he'll go away and be gone
overexpose
for
him
months and months.
like when MJF was world champ. Like he was so overexposed, and he
Yes,
started to not become a draw anymore.
Tony overexposed
He had him within
MJF.
like 5 different
Oh yeah.
storylines.
It was awful.
Yeah, as a
Yeah,
baby face.
cancer sucks. That's definitely true. Luckily, Roman's still with us and looks healthy.
He looks great.
Didn't cancer kill OJ? I know OJ died. I don't know what it
Yeah, I think
was
it
though.
was cancer.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but I mean, no offense, but
I don't.
OJ and
I'm not that broken up about his death. So
yeah, I was gonna say
No,
OJ
no.
and Roman Reigns are two different people. I'm sure Roman Reigns is a nicer person
Yeah,
yeah,
in
that
real
Right.
explains a
life.
lot. I guess because OJ was in the news recently, that was probably on his mind.
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
least amount of title defenses, but due to his leukemia, it worked. I mean, I don't know because leukemia didn't have any title defenses, or it was because it was just his contract because he agreed to a new contract where he had less dates.
Well, he gave up
So,
his title. Remember, he had a title run and he gave up his title because of it.
yeah, that was 2018 when the cancer came
Yeah.
back.
Ah.
Yeah,
So he
I
had to
mean, I
go
wish
back.
him all the best because I don't want to see. I don't like Roman Reigns, but I wouldn't want to see that on anybody. So please, Roman Reigns, get rid of it and beat it.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to night 2. The first match was the World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth Rollins and Drew
This was
McIntyre.
my
This was a
favorite
good
thing of
match.
the whole weekend.
This
The
was
way
a
all
good
this played
match
out. This was
with
my
CM
favorite thing
Punk as the
by
guest
far.
commentator. In the
It
beginning.
was a good match, and then Damian Priest came out on top.
I loved the way this all
Well,
played
that's
out with
because
CM
Yes.
Punk
that was
getting the
because of
last
CM
laugh
Punk
on Drew
continued that story.
McIntyre.
Right.
Loved it. That's how you do
CM
good
Because
Punk
wrestling
beat up.
storytelling.
And
Hmm
that, yes,
right.
that is good storytelling, getting Punk involved, and especially for the controversy that's been going on with the whole the backstage thing with Jack Perry and AEW.
We'll
I
get to
think this
that
is
for
definitely
sure.
going to get
hmm
a lot of CM Punk people energized that
I'm
he's
looking
finally
forward
back
to.
where he needs to be.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that feud, that match,
Mm-hmm.
And I,
because
I want to
Yep.
talk about that later when we get into that about,
yeah,
AEW's
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, we'll
overall
definitely get to that. I'm trying to
Overall,
get
I
through
think
contribution
they
to
did
this.
WrestleMania.
some really good stuff here,
I feel
and
like
I don't
everybody
usually
thinks
say
we're
that.
all like
I know.
AEW haters, and that's definitely not the case. Like we
Yeah,
are well aware of wrestling being better because AEW's around, despite their many downfalls. Despite their
I
many
didn't think so.
downfalls,
I didn't
but
think
just
so
having
either, but
two wrestling promotions,
yeah,
they
that's
made
what we
WWE
need.
better. Like you can't really deny that. WWE sucked like in 2019.
It
Oh
did,
God,
yeah.
it
They were
was the
doing really shitty
worst.
stuff.
Vince was
And
booking that
now,
shit.
like Triple H being in charge, basically doing what AEW is trying to do 10 times better.
Which is
Yeah, I
ironic
think
because
this is a new Triple H era, so I think good things are going to come. Just wait and see.
it's
I'm a Paul
ironic
Levesque guy.
because
It seems
it's
like we're
ironic
getting
because
babyface heel storytelling,
yeah,
Hmm.
it's
which is what
ironic
wrestling
Which is
was.
what we're used to.
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
AEW promised a sports-based presentation, and they also promised great storytelling, which they did neither.
that's
They
Mm.
became WWE light when Vince is running it. That's how
yeah.
bad they
Right.
are right now.
Storytelling in AEW is so poor and predictable, and
Well, and here's the kicker. They got rid of all those wrestlers now because of budget cuts. Remember those? So
hmm
Yeah,
WWE was on the front of doing that, but Now with Triple
Did
H,
you hear Tony
or
Khan said
Paul.
it's because he had to pay for a song to cost
Yeah.
Yes, he
Yeah,
paid.
I
This
heard
is
that.
ridiculous. And I agree with Tony, by the way.
uh,
Triple H and Shawn Michaels helped WWE, but
Come
this is
on.
ridiculous. The Death Before Dishonor show, which was on Friday night, WrestleMania week. The main event was Mark Briscoe versus somebody for the Ring of Honor title, and
Kingston?
it was Eddie Kingston, wasn't he? He's the champion,
I think so.
but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, Tony Khan, as like a surprise, paid for his favorite song, his entrance at Ring of Honor, the original Ring of Honor, and paid $100,000 for the song. I'm like, it's just
For
Mark
Ring of
Briscoe.
Honor,
Yeah,
was
for
it
Ring of
for
Honor show.
AEW? See, I
Yeah,
didn't know
no, it
what
was Ring
song
of
it was.
Honor.
I just heard the
It
press
was
clip.
fucking, what was the song? I forget right now, but it was some famous song that Mark Briscoe came out to, and the original Ring of Honor.
Oh, it
And they
wasn't even for fucking AEW.
no, it was for the Ring of
Just for
Honor pay
like
per view.
500
Yeah.
people.
And Tony Khan
Pretty
became and
much.
put the belt on him, put a
They need to
meaningless
stop
world
getting those
title on
big
him.
rings or arenas
A
because they're
hundred
not doing
thousand.
much. They're not putting butts in
Man, I wonder
seats.
how much
So
Tony Khan is paying, like, for, Carry On My Wayward Son and, the
I think
Orange
that's just
Cassidy song.
yeah. They
Those are,
must be paying out the ass.
yeah, that's,
They
yeah,
oh,
must
pay
be
the
man.
paying out
wrestlers,
the
not
ass.
don't. Yeah, pay the
Yes,
wrestlers, not the
Tony's right.
stupid copyrights.
Yeah, it pay the money to the wrestlers because even though Mark Briscoe looks like a meth head, but I won't get into that too much. If you look at his picture, it looks like a meth head.
Well,
All right,
ever since
I
Jay was
think
in
that
that
look is
car
his
accident,
gimmick, that to look,
I know it's his
No.
gimmick, but he looks
like,
like a meth head. Like he wouldn't be in WWE with that look. I'll tell you that much.
well,
But
and
maybe he
because
doesn't
of
belong
Jay,
there.
right?
You know? Yeah,
Jay Briscoe,
yeah. He
because of
died
his he passed away
in a
yeah,
car
it would
in
have been
that
accident.
nice
car
Yeah,
to see them
accident.
as a tag team in AEW. That,
yeah. That
because Jim
they were a
Cornette
And
tag
I
was
team.
think
those
they were
guys.
exploiting them,
Yeah,
yes.
Jim
But I
Cornette
still don't
I've
was
think
never
that Mark
seen
would
them
look like
wrestle as a
that.
tag team. I never got to see any of those matches that they had
Jim
with Ring
Cornette was
of Honor.
pushing them as a the top tag team in Ring of Honor when he was booking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And because they said something on social media, which
yeah,
Yeah,
a
was,
long
that's
time. Yeah,
ridiculous. That was like
That was
yeah, that was
ridiculous.
bull
Yeah,
2009.
crap.
like,
And all of a sudden now they weren't on wrestling anymore.
I mean, yeah,
So
we
and
got
then
we
I
got
always
yeah,
said that, I was
videotape
sad
of
when
the
that shit
Bucks
happened, man.
saying worse
yeah.
things.
I mean,
and-
social
All
media
right.
wasn't around when our wrestlers were around. So I mean,
Oh God, I mean, they would have been canceled a million times
and
over.
I'm
can you
Most
glad
of
imagine
I'm
those
our
glad it
guys.
wrestlers?
wasn't because they probably would
Yeah,
have
they would have
ruined
been
it for me.
canceled a million times over.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
So the next match was the Philadelphia Street Fight. I didn't really pay
Philadelphia
attention to
smoke
this
break.
match. Yeah, it was
I
the
did not watch
Pride.
it.
I didn't even know they had a, I didn't know they had a
Uh,
stable name. The Pride, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus
Uh,
the Final Testament, carrying Cross, Akam Razor with Paul Ellering and the chick, whatever her name is.
Scarlet.
right.
Paul
Both those
Yeah,
Ellering,
her.
Yeah.
both those
that
names
name,
suck.
I
I
can't
don't like
believe
either
Paul
of those
Ellering is
names.
still
I
around.
know
Oh
Paul
yeah.
Ellering's part of this group.
Is he part of
Right.
like? Isn't he like 100 years old? No offense.
Well, he was the manager for the Road Warriors for
Yeah, he was
Yes,
years.
Right.
he
Road Warriors
was back
manager.
in
Yeah,
AWA
But
days.
I think
Yeah.
he was
yeah,
like 20 years old back then.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Maybe putting Bianca and Jay with them, but they're going to be a tag team because on Raw, or
Yeah,
SmackDown, we saw that.
they're gonna be our
They,
new tag team
yeah,
women's champions.
It's a big
yeah.
deal. They
So
put Bobby with every,
black
it's gonna sound
wrestler.
funny, right? I was about to say that.
Yeah,
Any
but it's
black
true.
stable, everything, Bobby,
They put
and
him
it's
with
not
Bobby. Yeah,
right, and it's not like Bobby. Due respect, I like Bobby's look, but he doesn't have that Ron Simmons look, like kind
no,
of
he's kind of clean cut. Ron
right,
Simmons was more
right.
looked like
He
a
looks like
badass.
he
He would
Okay,
drink. He would smoke. He
he could do
smokes
it.
it.
If I see Bobby do this, I'm like, yeah.
I just remember Ron Simmons with the headgear. I'm like, what's with the headgear?
Oh
Oh, when he
God,
was
yeah,
Farouk.
Oh,
that
Yeah.
early
That's when he first came in
but
WWF.
gimmick when
I'm
Sonny was
like,
his
uh,
manager.
And
take off the
Vince
headgear.
and Vince gave him, "You're Farouk, pal. Here's a helmet. Make you look good."
That was so
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. All
mm,
right.
Or,
Oh, Bubba
yeah,
Ray. I forgot to mention Bubba Ray Dudley, special referee for no reason.
oh yeah.
oh yeah,
I
He got a
didn't
lot of
care.
heat on social
Yeah, he
media.
got a
I
lot of
didn't even
he got a
care.
good pop because he was in Philadelphia. So
Yeah,
all
he
right,
was
so
ECW.
yeah, the next match was LA Knight versus AJ Styles, which was a good
Yeah.
match.
not bad. Yeah,
It was a
And
good
who won?
match.
LA Knight,
LA
right?
Knight defeated
Yeah,
AJ
yeah,
Styles.
yeah,
Yeah,
rightfully
First
so.
which he
one.
should have. Which he should have. It
yeah.
was the right
Yes.
decision.
He's on the move. I think they're going to somewhat elevate him, but I still think he's middle card at best right now.
I think he beats Logan Paul for the
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
title in
yeah,
Cleveland.
Definitely. Yep.
yeah. He's the one that
I
should
mean,
beat
Definitely.
Logan Paul, probably at SummerSlam.
absolutely.
Yeah. AJ, I think he's kind of over and done with.
Well,
No, he's got a
AJ,
title match, doesn't he? With Cody?
no, not officially,
Oh,
because we'll get to SmackDown, but that's not officially. He still has to face LA Knight at next
That's
week's SmackDown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
See, I think his time has come and gone.
Well,
That's
he's
just my
there to.
opinion.
He's probably gonna put over Cody in France in the end of the
Right.
month
Right.
or
Right.
in May. So he's not gonna actually beat Cody, but he's. And the next match was the U.S. title 3-way: Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. I really liked this match. It was
for a
really
triple
good.
threat match, this was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good for a triple threat. Well, AJ's done. AJ's on
Yeah.
his way
See,
out, Tony.
I'm
I
not
mean,
disrespecting
Yeah.
him.
not
I'm just saying
disrespecting him.
his
There's really
time
nothing
has
more
come
for
and
AJ
gone.
to do in this.
Yeah.
And
He's
he's
he
already
was
And I'm
thinking about
a-
retirement.
probably
And I'm an
10
AJ
years
guy.
ago.
He's a guy
Yeah.
that goes
And I
Yeah.
away
love
and comes
AJ.
back for a month.
He
and
was
then
back
Right.
in the
off.
early 2000s. I remember
Yeah,
AJ
Yes.
just
he
as
was
I
in.
stopped watching.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like in
Yeah.
TNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will lose to Cody. Yes, he will. I mean, he's there to put over Cody, make him look good and strong in that match, which he will. I mean, he's still one of the best, even though he's almost retiring. But
Hmm.
yeah, but
Mhm.
I really liked this triple threat. You know, it was well done.
Enjoyable.
And
I
Logan
really
Paul
didn't care
retained.
about it.
Well, Logan Paul retained as he should have. I mean, there's no reason for him to drop the belt there, but he
You know,
retained.
Logan works, man. Logan, he works. He put in work.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
really come.
He's
What's
crazy.
He's
amazing-
really
He's
stepped up his
natural in
game.
it.
What's amazing, he's only had what 14, 15 matches, and he's
Right.
working
He's a
like that.
natural, man. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
But he's
Yeah.
that
And I don't
that
like him
heel
as
that
a
everyone
person
wants
at
to
all, but
hate. You know,
Yes.
girls.
you have to.
You know,
You gotta respect
girls
the
want to be
game.
with him, and guys
Yeah.
hate him because he's whatever. But I mean, he looks good. He's doing good things.
Hmm.
I can see him elevated, definitely.
When he had Roman Reigns in his second match, he faced Roman Reigns for the world title. I'm like, holy
Yeah.
crap, he's good.
Yeah,
And it's only
that
his
was
second
wild.
fucking match when they put him in that spot.
And
But
this
it was
from a lady who only watches old wrestling because I just need a palate cleanser. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. You know, the
Logan Paul
modern
would
wrestling
be-
mostly
Logan
But
sucks.
Paul
There's
AJ,
some
would
good
or
things.
AJ, jeez, Logan Paul,
Yeah.
he's doing good things. I can see good things happening for
He
him.
brings a lot of outside
Right.
publicity. to this.
Yes.
Which is
And
what
then look,
all
he,
he wants.
and Prime,
Oh, he's
they had
well
the Prime thing, his company, whatever. So
Oh,
it's
the
all
Prime logo.
right in both.
The
I think,
original
mhm,
the original logo was terrible. I mean, the one they
yeah,
introduced on SmackDown, it was terrible.
yeah,
The one they get at WrestleMania was actually good. It wasn't
Mhm.
noticeable, which it's okay if it's there, but it's not noticeable. It was just a black outline. It said
Yeah.
Prime, which is fine.
yeah.
And the only
if you
reason I'm singing the praises of Logan Paul is because he kind of impressed me, even though I wasn't much for the Elimination Chamber. He's
Thanks,
still
Black
kind
Ace.
of he still kind of impressed me. I was kind of like, oh boy, wow.
Yeah, he's impressive.
Way
Yeah.
better than he has
Yeah.
any business being.
Yeah.
Right.
And let's get to this match real quick. Io Sky versus Bailey for the women's title. I didn't pay attention to this match too
It was
much.
pretty
I didn't
cool.
either,
I
but
mean,
Jim Cornette
yeah.
said,
Alright.
his
was
wife
good.
Stacy was watching it and she really liked Bailey. She
Yeah,
really
Bayley
liked that
for
match,
over.
and she really liked
By
what
this
they
point,
did in
I
there.
was kind of hammered at this point, so I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
So, but it was I heard it was a good match, so I'm not really gonna comment too much on it.
Oh, we got a drunk angel here.
Yeah, at that point I was. Yeah.
You suck,
So-
Cody.
I wa-
All right, so let's get to the main event, which was Roman Reigns against Cody for the world title,
Ooh.
WWE Championship. I mean,
And
This
everybody
match-
thought Stone Cold was going to come out.
Well, he was
yes,
supposed
and
to.
There was
and
something
Greg did
about
too.
money. They couldn't agree on money.
I don't
they
That's
couldn't
what,
agree
that.
on.
I don't
It
believe
was
that.
a money issue, according to everybody
It
I
was- I
read.
bet it was
according
a
to everybody
Rock
on
issue.
X, it was a money issue.
I bet it was the Rock issue, not wanting to take the stunner.
Mm.
I don't
could
think
But
be,
he's
guys
done
like
so
each
many
other.
times before.
but
I don't
He
think
took
those guys
the-
like each other.
but
No.
he took the choke slam for Undertaker, so
I don't.
he.
I
I
think
mean-
it's a Stone Cold thing. I think it's kind of personal with him. I think they have
Yeah.
a rivalry.
I mean,
This match-
I wasn't much for John
20+
Cena,
years.
especially after that thing at the Emmys or whatever.
The Academy Awards. He came
Yeah,
out naked.
I was like, oh come on, John, really? No offense, but nobody wants to see you naked.
yeah,
Um,
but this match reminded me of a movie. I mean, it was
it was
like a
exactly what
movie.
we all asked for. Yeah. and
Yeah, it
they
was like a
perfect.
like
Great
Avengers Endgame.
story.
Roman
To
Right.
me,
Cody
it's
came
Yeah,
out
right.
with the mask and looked like a superhero. His
And I
wife
was
came with him.
Yeah, and I honestly
It,
compared this to the Stone Cold WrestleMania 15 when he
when he,
overcame over
hmm
all the odds. I actually compared it to the Stone Cold thing, and I was telling my man, I said, this reminds me of the whole WrestleMania 15 Austin getting the belt back, and then the whole higher power thing happened with him. So I
this,
mean, the right person won, but
hmm
my only gripe
yeah,
is, guys, why do you have to have three finishers or do the finishers
yeah.
multiple
That
times?
finisher
Either do
sucks.
it once and nobody
I
kicks
loved,
out, or
I loved,
don't
Well,
have
the
finishers.
thing is, they've already established that you can kick out of that finisher if you only do it one time.
Right. So
So
why have finishers?
he kind of booked himself into him having to do
yeah,
it three
Cody.
times every time now because
Right.
Cody's
even
buried
Right.
his
Roman
own
said this
finish.
move sucks.
Yes, I was gonna
Yeah,
get
I
to
You
mean,
that.
ain't beating
then
nobody
do
with
Roman,
this
another,
move.
then get a better
yeah,
finisher.
Yeah,
I
I don't
can
like that
count on my
finisher. It
hand
looks like
how
it
many
hurts
times,
Cody more than it hurts the
or
opponent.
what is it? I can count on my hand how many people kicked out of the perfect plex, and that's only if Kurt allowed you to. So I mean, it's one
hmm
of those things. It's and
Finishers aren't
yeah, I mean,
what they used
Macho
to be.
Man, when he hit that elbow,
Yeah,
you were
it
done.
was over.
When
yeah,
Hogan
Over.
did the leg drop, you were done.
Like
hmm
I think they've booked themselves into this corner.
Yeah,
yeah. They
that's my only gripe.
Cody buried his
Sorry.
own
Yeah, I
finish.
think a
It was
lot of
his
people
fault.
don't like.
Otherwise, it was a great match. I love to see the Undertaker. Even though I wasn't much for the Undertaker. I wasn't much for the Rock either. I don't
I
think he's relevant anymore, but that's just me.
Compared
I
to the guys that we got now, though, it's nice to see them. You know, they're
yeah, I
still
Yeah, it
better
was
love
than
nice to
everything we
see
got
them.
now.
it.
And then, like I said, the good man or the right man won. He
Yeah,
finished his
Yeah.
story. I almost cried when he hugged his mom. I was like,
yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah, the whole
a
moment.
emotional moment.
Yeah, his mom was
and all I
adorable. It
kept
just
thinking
seemed
was,
selfish,
Yeah.
wherever
though.
Dusty is, and he's looking down on his son, he is smiling. You
Yeah,
did your dad proud there,
yeah,
son.
he did. It was a great match,
It was
and
a great match.
it was a movie. It was
Right.
WWE's like Scorsese film or
Right,
Francis Ford Coppola
Yeah.
film or a Steven Spielberg film.
right.
Triple H is like top this, Tony. You can't
And he
top it.
called out Triple H, and Triple H and
Mhm.
him hugged. That was
Yeah,
actually, I
He
thought,
called
I
out
was
Bruce Pritchard too. I love
Bruce.
Oh
that.
yeah,
He
yeah.
he called out Bruce Pritchard
Let's
too,
switch it
making
that
him
was
Bruce
mad.
nice.
Pritchard.
I
Yes.
know that pissed off a
I
lot of
can't
people, but I'm a
imagine
Bruce
Bruce
Yeah,
Pritchard
without
fan.
the
yeah.
red face
Right.
paint.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
And
the
then
But
the
bug.
no,
whole
Bruce is okay.
and the whole hug with Michael Cole and then Samantha Irvin doing the call.
Like
And
they were all. Samantha was
Yeah,
emotional. It was like
oh yeah.
she
she
barely
was.
could.
I like when he had her announce him twice on Raw. I know we're gonna get to
Mhm.
Yeah,
that, but
we'll get to Raw.
damn it, Cody, you did your dad proud, and I'm damn proud
Good
of you.
moment.
And so is Dusty wherever he is. Wherever he is, he's going. You know,
It's a
it's
great
hard
match.
times. I can't do the accent, but it's
Right.
hard times.
And then
And my son
Dustin
did it.
and Dustin was in the rafters somewhere
Yeah,
watching an
And
Dustin
Ricky
was
Yeah, I wish
Starks.
article.
there,
he would have
and
came
Ricky
out, but he's
Starks.
AEW
Yeah.
Yeah,
property, so
and I was like, Tony, really, Tony couldn't say, okay,
Right.
Dustin, be in the ring. It's your
yeah,
Yeah.
go
family.
be
It's
with
just
your
God
brother at
forbid
yeah,
you
this
it's
get
his
really
moment. Yeah.
wonderful
publicity for a
moment.
change.
But
Instead, it's like
he
Tony.
hugged and
Instead,
kissed
he was in the
Mama
rafters. Mhm.
and kissed Brandy. I'm sorry, guys, I lost it. I'm a chick, I know,
Yeah,
but
it
it was
was
an
Yeah,
emotional
emotional.
that
No, I
was
mean
a
I
moment.
good
think a lot of
yeah.
people cried during
Oh
that
What's
moment.
yeah.
funny
It
I
was
at
almost
the
wasn't
like the
a
end?
Randy
Cody
and
fan. I was
Elizabeth
kind
getting
of a
back together. I cried
Yeah,
during that too.
at the end, after the match was over, you had Michael Cole and Corey
Oh
Graves and
yeah.
Pat McAfee, all of them just pushing the words professional wrestling
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this
over
is
and
That
over
was
and
professional
over
cool.
again.
wrestling.
And
Me
it
too.
was
I was
like
like, yeah, let's go.
I was annoyed
And
at
he
first.
finished his story.
I was annoyed with that until I realized Triple H is retraining the audience
They're
to say
Right.
changing.
professional
Yeah, they
wrestling,
gotta.
That's
not
right.
sports
Yeah.
entertainment.
Because
That's why they keep repeating it.
right, because Vince didn't even want to hear the word wrestler. And I'm
No,
like,
wrestling was
why?
not
They
allowed.
are
Did y'all
wrestlers. They wrestle in a wrestling ring.
did y'all see the story where they're gonna make the stage smaller so they can fit more people in
Yeah,
the audience?
Yes,
I
yes, I
love
did
that
yes,
see that.
because I
I
miss
yeah.
think
that
that's
look.
awesome. And
Yeah,
I
kudos to
love
they
the
Triple H for
way
doing that.
the setup looked when they were in Puerto Rico. And when as soon as they came
Oh
out,
yeah,
they're just
yeah.
surrounded by fans. I love that
Yeah,
look.
Just
that,
Right.
surrounded by
that's
fans. That's how they did it in the territories. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they literally you had
I
that small of
welcome
a
that
thing.
change
It
by
was an
Triple H
entranceway.
wholeheartedly. So
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
And
to see
that's
so
why
that.
you also had to run. The heels had to run out real
Yeah, that was
fast.
great.
yeah, it's like,
Like
they
when
were,
Cornette
they
would
were
come
gonna
out
I
get
with
mean, because
killed.
Vader
that's back in
in the
the day when they
90s.
actually
Yeah.
believed wrestling was real, and you had to move your ass.
Yeah,
Jesse
they,
Ventura said that him and Adrian would have to go out in the ambulance. Now that's called
yeah,
heat, baby.
yeah.
Mm.
They had to find a way out of
Yeah,
the
get more
building
heat,
without
make it smaller
dying.
so you can get more fans. I mean, WWE is so hot right now. They're
Yeah,
doing what they were doing in the 90s. I can see
yeah,
them filling up arenas, putting asses in seats. That's what
They've
it's all
Oh yeah.
had
about.
19 straight sellouts or
Yeah.
20.
Exactly.
It's
And
been
let me
Exactly.
bring
hotter than
this
ever.
up, and I'll bring this up. So I was on night one. I was playing. I was in my Xbox
yeah.
with my other friends,
Uh
and
huh.
one of them is a non wrestling fan. So he got